disarray in the political scene.
All right, Professor, we'll be getting back to you in just but a few. We just want to update our viewers on tomorrow's state funeral service, which will be held at the Nyayo National Stadium in accordance to state protocols. Of course, earlier on, we saw the Deputy President, Professor Kithure Kindiki, who is co-chairing the National Committee of State Funeral, just give an update, and this is what he had to say.
And former President Uhuru Kenyatta led the family and dignitaries in the solemn state reception. The hearse carrying the remains of the late Prime Minister Raila Odinga was escorted from Jomo Kenyatta International Airport all the way to Kasarani Stadium, a nearly 40 kilometers journey by thousands of mourners arriving there shortly after 2:30 p.m. Upon arrival at Kasarani Stadium, military honors, prayers, and viewing of the body were done in the attendance of President William Ruto, former President Uhuru Kenyatta, family, dignitaries, and the top military command of the country. Public viewing of the mortal remains of our departed leader has just concluded peacefully at Kasarani. And we had intended to extend that viewing to as far as it would have become necessary, because we didn't want to give any mourner a reason to doubt that we all collectively want to mourn the late Prime Minister as much as possible. The National Committee on the State Funeral of the late Prime Minister Raila Odinga is grateful to the thousands of mourners who continue to mourn him in dignity, and requests for calm and order as the mourning period gets into the second day tomorrow. Tomorrow, there will be a state funeral service at Nyayo Stadium beginning 9 a.m. Guests are required to be settled by 8 a.m. This 2-hour state event will comprise of military honors, a church sermon from the Anglican Church of Kenya, eulogy by family and designated condolences, and all speeches from the leadership of Kenya and foreign heads of state and government.
All right, that is the latest on the state funeral service. Remember, mourners are expected to be seated by 8 a.m. at Nyayo National Stadium before the commencement of that funeral service, which will be held for around 2 hours. Of course, there will be military honors and also a church service by the Anglican Church of Kenya, and then later on some speeches by dignitaries. Of course, all this will be covering for you here at KTN. Now, we still want to have a conversation with the former Makueni Governor, Professor Kivutha Kibwana. But before we do, the passing of Raila Odinga, Kenya's